Okay. We're going to need the hotkey for this. We're going to review a video. I haven't watched this, but we're going to go. I heard like a couple points she was making, and it was a real good title of a video. I've never heard of this person before, seen their channel. So we're gonna review this. I just want to make sure I'm in the frame. Everything's like very delicate, to say the least. Kind of like, it's like everything's just falling over. All right.
Is this the life that you would have chosen for yourself?
You've been brainwashed to think you need to work.
From the moment you're born, you are placed into a man-made construct. You're assigned a name, you're assigned a role, and a purpose within a system that is designed to keep you working, not questioning. The Industrial Revolution.
Yeah. I like how she's actually very smart. And yeah, ever since we're a baby, for some reason, our parents want to get us in school right away. And then by the time we're in preschool at such a young age, we're in school for a third of our life. Then we go to college. And then you work. So it takes up most of your life. You're basically always in a construct, like she said. And then they don't want you to question things. This video is probably going to be longer. But since you question things, you are awakening. People that don't question things are brainwashed. They can't even think. A lot of people are like that. Brainwashed.
Revolution shaped the world that we live in now. Before there were factories, work was tied to survival.
Work was tied to survival. That's what I consider a real job. To me.
Growing food, building shelter, and industrialization transformed this, and people became workers, and their lives revolved around production. But why do we still structure our lives like we're in 19th century factories? The 9-to-5 grind, retiring at 65. It's all so arbitrary and outdated. 90+% of people experience burnout, and these feelings of burnout and apathy and disinterest are not signs that you're lazy or you can't handle it. They're signs of awakening. They're signs that you're waking up out of the slumber that you've been in. Your soul isn't rejecting work because you're lazy. It's rejecting it because what it's actually rejecting is the idea that your life should be spent chasing arbitrary goals. Society gaslights us into thinking that wanting freedom makes us ungrateful or entitled or irresponsible or selfish. Productivity is this virtue, while rest and exploration are seen as wasteful and a luxury. By the way,
Yeah, she's right about this. You know, like when you are free or not doing what everybody else is doing, such as they make you feel like entitled or irresponsible, she said. Because people want you to feel like them, basically.
while rest and exploration are seen as wasteful and a luxury. By the way, if you can hear that noise, the water filter likes to do that sometimes, and it chose to do it right now. So that's cool. So many people are working so hard because they think that that's what they need to do to succeed. If working as hard as possible was guaranteed to get you the success that you want, every janitor, every delivery driver, every nurse would be rich. These people work harder than anyone. Have you noticed that the wealthiest people often work the least, and they control the most resources, and they have tons of free time, and they know how to leisure? If that
Yeah, I mean, she's spitting facts. Yeah, the people that do the most work in society, she said nurses and teachers, maintenance people, they get paid the least and they never have any money. And on the nurses, doctors, cashiers, and then wealthy people, they never work at all. And if they do, well, it's their option. They might not know anything else. But usually they do whatever they want. It's easier to start a business when you're popular. And popularity basically brings you money, even if you're a bum. And having money, you can just make multiple businesses. It doesn't even matter if they fail. To be a poor person, you have to, get money and use everything.
control the most resources, and they have tons of free time, and they know
Rich people also do have all the resources. It's not even rich people, it's just the people that control us.
how to leisure, if that's a verb. They're very familiar with a leisurely lifestyle. They understand that time is your most precious and valuable asset. They're not gonna fucking waste it trading their time for money for somebody else to fill someone else's pockets. The smart people are trying to get back their time. And the really, really smart ones are making more and more money the more and more time they're getting back. The system that we're in, it's not designed to reward you for working harder. It's actually designed to keep most people in survival mode, getting by just enough.
Yeah, most people are just working all the time just to get by.
Scraping up enough money every 2 weeks to pay for your food and your health insurance and your car insurance and your mortgage.
And what she said at the very beginning, just to go back on that, she said we didn't build society for us to work all the time. The reason why we even... Alright, my computers, the surge, it just been flickering on and off.
Under, you just start to question everything, right? And like, if you can just remove yourself from our society and our culture here on planet Earth and look at this from a broader perspective, like, we're humans on Earth, just like every other animal on the planet. We are the ones who created this system that we need to work to earn money to survive. Who decided this? God didn't decide this.
Yeah, so as I got cut off, we make society so life is easier. That's the whole point of civilization.
You were not placed on this universe to work in order to earn a place here. Now, I understand we all need to operate within the society, but there are ways to exist here without playing that game. And if you still believe that you need to be clocking into a 9 to 5 or working your ass off at some job in order to pay all the bills and just stay afloat, you really need to reevaluate. I really struggle to believe that we were placed on this beautiful planet to spend 2/3 of it slaving away to earn a few bucks, doing something that we don't even love doing. That is such a waste of a life. That it's not why you're here. You were not born to clock in and out of work for 40 plus hours a week. Your worth and value are inherent. They don't exist because you work some job. They exist because you are alive. This planet is so breathtaking. There are so many beautiful mountains and oceans and forests and cultures and art and cities and landscapes. There's too much to see. You could never see it all in a lifetime, but I'll be damned if I'm not going to try. I refuse to get to the end of my life wishing that I had spent it differently and wishing that I had worked less. You hear so many people say that on their deathbed. I wish I hadn't worked as much. I wish I had spent more time with family. I wish I had spent more time traveling. I wish I had spent more time doing things I love. I wish I had had the guts to take a risk and do the things that I love.
Yeah, that's a thing. Obviously, people have regrets at the end of their life and don't get retirement till later after if they don't die. And by then, their body might be messed up. Can't do maybe some of the things they want to do. And she was also saying, yeah, like, I think about that sometimes too. All the, I'll be driving past the highways, like all this space I never get to explore, and all the landscapes around the world. Yeah, I haven't even really been out of the state. That used to be like my number one thing, was to explore, travel, till my body got messed up.
Had the guts to take a risk and do the things that I love. Don't be one of those people. And I get it. Work is like tied to our identity. From childhood, you're always asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like happy, free, joyful. But very early on, our value is tied to the career path that we're choosing. And even as adults, the first thing someone asks you is, what do you do, right? I still do this to people, but not because I'm not placing value. I just am genuinely curious how people spend their time, Because yes, I do massage and I got a lot of free time, but I just like to know how people spend their time. I think for a lot of people, I don't identify with my job. That's why when people ask me, I say I'm a massage therapist. I reluctantly say it at this point because it's not even my passion anymore.
Yeah, the thing about massage therapists, they use their hands so much that after years of doing it, from what I've heard, it always messes up your wrists. And then they basically can't do it anymore. So that's like an unfortunate part about doing that. Whoops.
Love doing it, but it's not what I want to do for the rest of my life. And
exactly. No one wants to do the same thing over and over and over. For example, I don't mind throwing a roof on a house. I don't mind doing anything. But for me to do the same thing, put a roof on a house every day for all year, you got to be crazy. If you love throwing roofs on houses, it brings you joy. I don't see that in me. And I just don't see myself doing that. I couldn't. I wouldn't.
Don't like that label.
Whoops, I don't know what.
Being slapped on me. But I think a lot of people are really identified with their title. Who would you be without that title, without your paycheck, without your resume? My resume is a fucking joke.
We built society basically for us to live for free.
It's a joke. I've been a yoga teacher, a massage therapist. I've worked construction. I've been a server. I worked at Whole Foods. That's
She looks like she's done all those jobs.
my resume. But I don't care. To me, it's so irrelevant. It's like so irrelevant. I could not fucking care less about it. Not to mention the fact that work is not going to exist in the way that we know it today for very much longer. I don't know if people understand how much AI is going to transform every single thing about our existence. You already see it. AI is taking over so many jobs. It's helping people get so.
AI has always been around. It's not something new. It's just something they're releasing to the public. It never not existed. We can talk about this later at some time.
So much more work done with so much less effort. So the sooner that you can actually embrace it and put it to work for you and find ways to allow AI to replace you in the workforce, and at the same time allowing you to continue to generate income and generate even more and more.
It is going to happen, but it's not going to happen as fast. They're going to drag it out as they drag it in because they want to force you to work more. That's the whole reason why they don't want to implement it, or it's not already.
Income, get it to work for you so that it frees up your time. This is actually a beautiful, beautiful time to exist because we are being given a gift. We're being given the opportunity to get our lives back and our time back and to be able to just explore and enjoy and travel and play and do whatever we want with our time. Why?
Yeah, we should be able to do whatever we want. And we also should play. That's like the biggest point. That's the whole reason why we're here. For most people.
While AI and technology is working for us to generate income, I use ChatGPT to help me write scripts, to help me think of thumbnail ideas, to help me come up with keywords for my videos. And it's like your little assistant. It's like your little sidekick, and it gets to know you and it learns.
I don't use AI for anything. I don't like it. But using a robot for maintenance and for doing jobs such as agriculture, yeah.
Your tone and your attitude and your delivery and your perspective. And it's collaborative. I'll have a conversation with it where we're trying to suss out and work out how I want to communicate what I'm saying. And if it comes across too like cheesy or just cliche or superficial, which it often does have kind of like very...
Yeah, she used like 1 million jump cuts for this video.
generic self-help
That's
vibe
fine.
to it. I will have to have a conversation with it and tell it that's not how we talk around here. And it helps me. It saves me so much time. You can tell it to write you a freaking book, and it uses your own input, and you can tell it what you want to discuss and what your...
The thing is, if whatever AI writes, it's not going to have the same presentation. For layman terms, it's not going to have the same essence.
perspective is and what angle you want to take. And it will come up with an entire book. chapter by chapter, point by point, and you can then dig into it even further and say, I'd like to expand on this topic. Can we go deeper into this? Can we shift the perspective here? I'd like to actually talk about this more from this angle rather than that. It's so freaking cool. You can create whatever you want. You can create the life that you want now using AI. And this is what smart people are doing. So if you're not aware and if you're not using it, if you're not using it somehow, somewhere in your life right now, I do not actually know what you're doing, because you are missing out on a huge opportunity. But this is how you get your life back. This is how
the thing is about
you
AI
reclaim the freedom that is your birthright. What I think people really need to do is
they don't want to, again, that's not their passion. Making money is not anybody's. If they're not doing it out of their passion, then it's not something you want to do.
is redefine what
So chat GPT, it's not something you, even spending time on that, it's not like freedom. It's basically work, but maybe easier to make money.
is truly important to you. You need shelter. Yes. You need food. Yes. You need love. Yes. You need connection. Yes. And you need purpose. Yes. But you don't need a career ladder. You don't need a fancy title. There are so many alternatives to that way of thinking.
There's no such thing as a career or a fancy title. If we would just go down to South America or the tribes in Africa, we would see they're just people. Most of them don't even have buildings.
Thinking and that way of approaching your life. There's so many different ways to live your life. I have been a minimalist for so long. You would be amazed at how little you actually need to survive. Even the amount that I have. And aside from furniture that I bought when I had my apartment, everything I own fits in my truck for the most part now. And it always has. And even that feels like too much.
That's
even
true.
that.
I lived out of my car, like each year at the same time for a week. Plus I was definitely ill. But yeah, like if you're like going to like live outside, or if you ever go like on a big backpacking hiking trip, which you should do, you would see like all those items, and you would have a new perspective on life. We used to explore it pretty much every day. That's the thing, we used to explore all the time. Exploring and traveling is pretty much the fun that we look for. To hunt an animal, people act like surviving outside is very hard. No. Especially when you have multiple people and a civilization at this point. It's actually very easy. You hunt an animal. Yeah, you have to gut it, which takes time. But then you're good. That's it. You have the rest of the day and days on end before you have to like hunt another animal. Depending on the animal.
That amount of stuff stresses me out. Well, now I have my camper too that has stuff in it.
We're going to do a video that people that live like in Indonesia and just like swim underwater and get their own fish. Interesting. Like,
it's just like, God, you accumulate more and more, and it's so stressful. I hate owning things. I really do. It's like such a burden. It's such a trap. It is such a trap.
Yeah, I don't like owning like a lot of stuff. She's right. I never really have, but I grew up around hoarders, and I know some. But I actually rented a house, and I didn't like. There was too much space. I didn't. It can't even get somewhere small. That's like a small little hut. They don't build those. And I didn't even want items for like the house, not that many. And just having, and just if you ever have to move with all your shit, it's just like such a headache. It feels like a waste of time.
But first thing is, you just don't need as much as you think you do. The second thing is, there are so many ways to make money. There are people who are digital entrepreneurs. There are people who create something. Like, think about someone who writes a book, right? You write the book once and then you continue to sell it over time. It's like music. You make the record and then someone buys it over time. And yes, you're working and you're creating more, but really you're immersed in your artistic endeavor. You're doing something that lights you up, that you love, that actually gives you energy. And that's really the key, is find something that energizes you. The more that you do it, the more energy you receive. I will give an example. Creating these YouTube videos. This does not drain me whatsoever. In fact, this gives me so much energy.
I like how she's like very confident in how she talks.
And makes me feel more passionate and more excited. And that's how I know that I'm meant to be doing it. And one day I know that what I'm doing and what I'm creating here is going to result in some type of income. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I have no idea. I don't know what it's going to look like. I just know that that's going to happen and I trust it. But that's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because
you do stuff because you like to do it, not because like there's some outcome, as in money. So again, she was saying she uses the chat BG, whatever, GBT. Again, that's not something you're only doing it for money.
I love doing it. I'm doing it because I've wanted to do it for so long. I knew that I had to do it. If there's something inside of you that you want to be doing and you don't know how it's going to work and how it's going to make you money and is it realistic, just forget about all of that and just do it. Seriously, you have to trust.
She's right.
And do it. I promise you, the path will appear before you as you progress along it. You're not going to see it before that, though. Like, the universe isn't going to just show you everything before you take the risk. That's part of it. Part of this is trust and faith.
Yeah, which people never have. I really like this girl's personality. I've never met a girl like this, even on YouTube. But she's very articulate. Yeah, she's a good girl.
Faith. You have to step into that faith.
Which I don't say that a lot.
Otherwise, the path is not going to be laid out before you. So find the things that excite you. Build a life around freedom, not obligation. Ask yourself, do you really need everything that you're working for? Why do you want the things that you want? Is it because you think that it will reward you with a level of status and recognition? What is it really going to give you? Find a way to prioritize time for yourself, for your passions, for the people that you love, and learn to deprogram all of the societal messages about productivity and success, because they're fucking with your head.
She would be a good like family member, part of the tribe.
If you do not wake up to this now, you're going to blink and most of your life will be gone. Simple question. If you didn't need to work, what would you do? Where would you go? The system that we're living in thrives when people stay asleep. But you have the power to choose a different path. You just need to wake up. It's not nap time anymore. All right, you guys, thank you for watching. This is a great video to watch next. Otherwise, I will see you in the
It was just funny. That was the funniest thing she said. It's not nap time anymore. I don't make YouTube videos like it's a side thing for me. I'm not really into technology. Minimally, you can say. But I just wanted to say that YouTube, that's just how I am. Yeah, I don't get how. I was just trying to see how she got so many subscribers, because she doesn't really have any videos, which doesn't make sense. Yeah. But, I mean, she could have got them anyway. Oh, yeah, shorts. Nope, she don't really have too many. But YouTube is not like my final thing. If I was making travel videos or doing something else, then it would be. But my main goal is teaching spirituality in person. Okay, we're done with this.